What's good, everyone? Welcome back to the show recap with Mo, where we're getting ready to get into another episode breakdown of Tyler Perry's Sistas. But before we get into this thing, make sure to like and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss shit snit that's going down, alright? So the episode we're getting ready to get into is Season 6, episode number 15, titled Too Close to Home. Now the synopsis for this episode states that after spending time with Michael, Zach learns he must do whatever it takes to get custody of his son. Preston and Danni continue to not see eye to eye. Now that we got that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into this thing. All right, let me go ahead and apologize up front if it sounds like my voice is going in and out, but I'm going to make it do what it do, man. I got some type of little tickle in my throat. I don't know what it is. But I hope that it's gone and out of my system by the end of the week because I got a whole lot of stuff to get into. But anyhow, man, let's go ahead and jump into this episode review, man. So we kicked this episode off exactly where we left off previously with Zach, Fatima, and of course Karen. Now, both Fatima and Zach, they are there specifically to buy Pampers for little Michael, and Karen is there to buy some food for herself because she didn't have anything back at the crib. So when Karen sees them, Zach is already like, oh shit, like it's about to go down. I don't want any problems tonight. Like, I just want to get these Pampers and head home. You could tell that he didn't want to get into it tonight. So anyhow, Karen is like, oh, so he got you carrying Pampers and stuff. And she was like, yeah. And then Fatima's like, look, Karen, what is your problem? Like, why are we going back and forth? Like, we're not here for that. We're here for this kid right here that's obviously gone through some shit tonight. And of course, Karen is just going to do what Karen does, right? So she goes on in and she was like, so is this your child? And Zach is like, yeah. And she was like, so you willingly went throughout the whole DNA process? And he was like, yeah, I did. So she felt some type of way about that as well. And then not only that, she brought up the fact that, well, you really didn't need one because he looks just like you. Now, let me go ahead and step on that real quick. I know a partner of mine for years who was paying child support for a child that looked just like him. I mean, it looked like this joker spat him out. You hear what I'm saying? Looked just like him. Found out 5.5 years later that the child wasn't his. And you know how he found out? The girl that supposedly was his baby's mother got pissed off at him. He didn't do what she wanted him to do. And then she got upset with him and pretty much unleashed everything. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me right now. And unfortunately for him, he actually signed the birth certificate at the hospital. Instead of doing his due diligence to, cross every T and dot every I to make sure everything is good, he went along with the go on. And he found out that he was going to get on without his money because every month she was getting child support. And unfortunately, when he found out, the judge was like, did you not sign that birth certificate? And he was like, yeah, because I thought it was mine. And she was like, well, I mean, unfortunately, that's on you. So all I'm saying is Karen, just because that child looks like Zach doesn't necessarily mean that it's Zach's. Now, we all know for all practical purposes that it is Zach's child and it's his. And so we know what it is. So yeah, he looks just like Zach. But anyhow, getting back to this story right here. So it really bothered me because Zach is like, look, I don't want to get into it tonight. I just want to get what I'm here for and go home and take care of my son. Karen is feeling some type of way. Even when they walk off, Karen is like, oh, hell no. Like, y'all not just going to jettison on me and I'm still trying to get my point across. So she follows these jokers throughout the store, right? Now, I hear all of y'all that's been holding up Karen, trying to support Karen, stating that Karen isn't wrong. Man, y'all got to get the heck out of here with this one because no one deserved what she was giving them. And she looked like an ass when Fatima pretty much had to put her in her place and let her know, look, you clowning me right now, talking about, oh, y'all just going to strap them in. And Fatima has to pretty much tell her, look, this is what you do when you go to a situation and you pretty much just have to make it up on the spot. And she goes on to tell her that, look, he was in a bad situation where he was being hit on and all types of stuff. And we took him from it. And all we're trying to do right now, instead of going back and forth with you, all we really want to do is just get this child home to somewhere safe. And when you see Fatima going in on Karen, I'm like, go ahead and get her, because she deserves every bit of this one, all right? Karen is looking there looking silly, like, go ahead and pick up the face, go on and put it up, and just apologize. But Karen couldn't find it within herself at that point to apologize to Fatima for going in on her, for going in on Zach. Like, this is not the time nor the place. Let's talk about it later when we can talk about Dana coming into the context. Then we'll figure out what's going on instead of you trying to do the process of elimination. Let me go ahead and get off of that. So anyhow, going on from there, we head over to Maurice's crib where we see him laid up on the couch watching a little bit of television, and in walks Calvin. Now, Calvin is just getting in. He's telling him that he's exhausted and all he wants to do is go to bed. Maurice is, he's a little uncertain with his future right now. He's a little scared. So he tells Calvin not to go to sleep. I just need you to sit right here and spend some time with me because I'm a little bit nervous, right? And he really feels like, this may be the last time. He feels like this might be the last time that he's a free man, all right? And I'm not laughing at the fact that Maurice is feeling this way right now. And he already knows that this stuff that he's going through right now is because of his actions. The way that he has responded, the way that he trusted Q to be this man that he absolutely was not. So if he would have just listened to Sabrina and those around him in his circle that was trying to convey to this man that this is not the person for you, instead of trying to get that thing down below, you should have been focused on the things on high. See, I'm on one tonight, man. I could talk a little bit longer on this episode breakdown right here. But anyhow, look, Calvin is like, man, you're a good man. You were a kind-hearted individual that looked out for Q. You wanted the best for him, and you allowed him to come into your own house, and he misused you. That's all it was. Don't kick yourself right now. Now, there's some times that you could have kicked your own ass, when you were going in on Sabrina and everybody else who was simply trying to help your ass. That's when you should have done something. But since we're past all of that, Maurice, let's just woosah. Let's just let it go, man. Just calm down. Everything's going to be good, all right? So going on from there, we head over to Zach and Fatima's crib. But before we get into this part, because this is a big part right here, I wanted to point out the fact that I enjoyed the vulnerability in the previous scene with Maurice and Calvin, where they actually conveyed to one another how they felt about each other. It wasn't it had nothing to do with sexual or anything like that. It was just simply, I love you, bro. And I'm glad to actually see this side of Maurice more so than the past few episodes where he was a complete asshole. I'm liking this side of Maurice because I'm seeing a growth in him. Or maybe he's realizing, like, I don't have a whole lot of time potentially. Like, if this shit goes sideways, like, I need to set things straight. But not only that, I think he's actually come to the point that he realized that Calvin and Sabrina both were so very supportive of him. And to think back and to reflect on what you were doing to these two individuals, when all they were trying to do is just save your butt. See, I'm doing better, y'all. I didn't say what I really wanted to say. But yeah, that's all they were trying to do. And I think Maurice is finally realizing, like, man, these folks were looking out for me. Brother Calvin was willing to give up his $20,000 that he was saving for a rainy day. And lastly, you already know with Sabrina, she was willing to give up her freedom and become one of the 9 wives. You see what I'm saying? Of brother... a brother Bio. You know what I'm saying? So everybody was willing to give up something for Maurice to get out of that situation. So anyhow, moving on from there, we head over to Zach and Fatima's crib where we see them coming in, and Zach is going upstairs to run the bath water, and Fatima walks little Mike over to the couch, places him on her lap, and she notices obviously there's some bruises or something on his body, and She calls Zach down. Of course, this was hard for me to watch because I told you guys previously that I don't like this shit right here. I'm sorry, I'm trying to do better. But this right here gets under my skin, y'all. Like, why in the heck would you do that to a child? Or to someone who cannot defend themselves? Man, I don't even know how I will respond in that situation if I even witnessed anything like that. Thinking about my 2 kids, man, ain't no telling what I would do. You see what I'm saying? So anyhow, Zach comes down. Zach is emotional. He's checking on him. Does it hurt here when I touch you? Little Michael lifts up his pant leg to show him something else that's hurting on him. And I was like, man, look. Man, let's go on and go to the commercial. You see what I'm saying? So anyhow, I was like, look, we got to do better, y'all. We got to do better. And Fatima's so emotional because, you know, she loves the man. So she loves the child because that is that man's child. And like I said, man, I'm really enjoying the feeling. I know the name of the episode is too close to home. But if it's love, bring it on. You see what I'm saying? So anyhow, going on from there, man. We head over to Danni's crib. Since we're going to talk about love, let's go ahead and talk about it. So Danni is in a relationship or a situationship with Preston now. But now she's sneaking back into her own damn crib, trying not to wake up Preston because she's assuming that this brother is asleep. Well, unfortunately for her, while she's creeping herself across the floor, and then she got to walk by the bed just to get into the bathroom, Preston is wide awake. You know, he done came down off of his highness right now. He's good. Of course, he's already cleaned and cooked. Everything is good. Like I told y'all in my previous video, if y'all have yet to watch that video about Danni and Preston, please go back and look at that from yesterday. But yeah, man, I already knew that it wasn't going to go down the way that Danni thought it was. There's no way in the world you're going to sneak back into this crib and think this man is not waiting up for you. Like, this man is excited, and I can't blame him. Now, you know I love all pieces of chocolate. Danni is looking daggone good in that leather skirt or whatever y'all want to call it. Like, whatever she had on that night was looking good to me. You heard me. So, I understood when he said, hey, you getting ready to take a bath? She was like, yeah, I'm getting ready to go run a shower. He was like, should I join you? And I was like, yeah, go on in there, Preston. Go and do what you need to do. But anyhow, Danni's like, no, I'm good. I'm going to just run in here. I'm going to get right out. I'm going to go ahead and lie down because I got to be at work early in the morning. So she goes in there. She's looking at herself in the mirror or whatnot. And then her phone vibrates loud as hell. I'm like, what? Like, for real? And, yeah. And all of a sudden, you see Preston in the background. And I was like, oh, shit, did he hear the vibrate? Like, because I heard it over here. Did he hear it over there? So, anyhow, he conveys to her, like, look, man, I got to go to the bathroom. You're going to have to scoot to the side. There's enough space in here for us both. And, of course, she gave him a little bit of space to do that. Now, the big thing in this scene right here is, and yes, I am going to go ahead and put it up on the screen real quick so y'all can see it and witness it once again in slow-mo. Yes, she got a smirk on her face, and Brother Preston has noticed that smirk. And of course, he got to go in there and urinate, but at the same time, he want to know about that damn smirk that was on her face. Why was she smiling? And you see how he played it off, and he said, yeah, you know, y'all still doing a little girl chat or whatnot? And she was like, yeah, it was something funny, like something like that. Whatever she said, I'm off of it at this point because I still want to know what you were smirking about. Inquiring minds want to know, Danni. What were you and old boy talking about on that text? That's what we want to know. All right. So anyhow, moving on from there, we head back over to Zach and Fatima's crib where we see, but we actually hear a knock on the door, and it just so happens to be Karen. Now, I was like initially, oh, please don't let no drama go down. You got Karen outside the door. And then we have Fatima inside the house with that piece of steel that brings all understanding. So I did not want anything to go down, definitely in front of Michael or while he was there at the crib. Just be cordial with one another, right? So anyhow, I will say this about this scene right here. I really enjoyed, once again, watching these two ladies, watching these two grown-ass women talk it out. And I got to admit to y'all, I was surprised as hell, man. I really was. Because Well, I take that back. I wasn't really surprised because of the facial expression that Karen made. You could tell that she felt some type of way about that, and she really wanted to rectify it. She really did, and I'm glad that she put on her grown woman panties and said, "I'm sorry." That's all she could say. That's all she needed to say because she misjudged, and she was right for that. So I commend her for that. You see what I'm saying? I give you props when you're right, but I got to go ahead and deduct some when you're wrong. You heard me? So anyhow, going on from there, we head over to Andi's crib where we see her doing a little bit of yoga when she receives a phone call from Karen telling her that she's downstairs to let her up so she can come into her apartment and talk to her a little bit about what's going on in her life, how she's feeling, what she's gone through for the past couple of days, the last couple of hours. And I thought it was good for Karen to just get out of the confines of her house, get out into the city, go to a friend's house and just talk. And just simply relieve yourself of this stress, this pent-up stress that you're holding on to right now. Just allow it to, leave you. You see what I'm saying? And I thought that, with the whole conversation with Andi, that it would benefit both of them because Karen pretty much told her everything that had gone down. She told her about the whole situation with Aaron, how she conveyed to him that they could no longer be together as a couple. And then she goes on to tell her that she actually tore up the check that Zach gave her. And Andi is like, "Oh, well, you're cool. I can loan you the money." And Karen is like, "Are you sure?" She was like, "Yeah, I got you. Always got you. We as your sisters, we always got you." And Karen was appreciative of that. What else did she say? Oh, she talked about the whole situation with Zach and running into him at the grocery store with his son in his arms. And of course, Andi is like, "What? Like, what happened? Everything was cordial. Everything was good." She was like, "Yeah, except for the fact that I went in a little bit too hard. I ended up having to apologize for what I did, for my actions." And she absolutely should have, right? She also conveyed to her that she actually went and bought some things for little Michael. I think ultimately because she felt bad. And she also knew the type of relationship and the type of childhood that Zach had as well. So I think all of that was messing with her conscience because she knew of all of the things that Zach had gone through, and this is his son. And when you love that man, once again, y'all can say it with me, you're going to love that child and vice versa. If a woman got a child and you love that woman, you're going to do the very same thing for that child. If you love him, you will absolutely do any and everything for that individual. So anyway, we head back over to Zach and Fatima's crib. Now, I got to be honest with y'all. I'm actually getting accustomed to saying Zach and Fatima's crib. So I'm hoping nothing messes up in between time. I'm just saying, TP, let's keep it honest right here. So Zach and Fatima, Zach is downstairs with his son, sleep on the couch. Fatima comes down in this bomb-ass dress. Lord have mercy. Comes down, focus, Mo, focus. I'm trying to tell y'all, man, it is late. You know what I'm saying? She comes down, she takes a little snapshot. Obviously, she thought, them being on the couch together was a beautiful thing, so she took a picture of it. Zach awakes, and he was like, "No, leave him alone, let him get his sleep." Also with that, Fatima is getting ready to go back to work, and they got to meet with the attorney, so she stated that they're going to work that out as well because, they really want to get custody of little Michael, definitely with all the stuff that he's gone through thus far. Also taking him to the doctor due to all the ailments and things that he's dealing with right now. And Zachary is actually concerned that, little Michael has actually said nothing to him. Now, I will say this. I did notice a lot of the nonverbal communication, definitely when Zach was trying to figure out where any other areas on his body hurting, and he never opened his mouth to respond. It was just simply, let me show you where I'm having the pain right now, and we can get to the other part later. So, I'm just simply hoping that this whole situation with little Michael and, his living situations are, resolved quickly and swiftly. And that's all I'm praying for at this moment. Going on from there, we see Sabrina goes over to see Maurice. Now, that whole situation, it is what it is. I really don't see the need for the scene, but since it was part of the show, we'll talk about it very briefly. She pretty much came over there to tell Maurice that he was right. Maurice already knew he was right about the attorney in that whole situation. And, I just feel that, Sabrina and Maurice, they're still nervous about this whole situation. And I think it's going to work out, pleasantly. I'm hoping that it's going to work out, definitely with the trailer that's at the end of this episode. So I'm really not sure. But I think it's going to work out because TP isn't getting rid of Sabrina like that. I honestly do not believe that he's sending her to jail. I'm just being dead ass, man. Anyhow, going on from there, we head back over to the law firm where we see both Fatima and Andi. Now, Andi goes on to tell Fatima about her date, how she thought about Jordan and all of this stuff. So, right now she's spitting. She's smitten for Jordan. I just hope that she can hold off without giving this brother the cookies so very quickly. Just wait a little bit, Andi. Just hold on. Hold your horses, all right? Don't give it to him yet. Now, he already done told you he ready to get down already. Just hold off a little bit. Save some before I could taste it a little bit later. You see what I'm saying? I think that she likes Jordan, or maybe she's just interested in something other than Gary. Sometimes you just want to get that bitter taste out of your mouth. And Gary has been a bitter taste for her for quite a while now. And maybe she just wants something new. You see what I'm saying? Going on from there, we head back over to Zach's crib, and we see little Michael. He's sitting at the table eating, and Fatima calls Zach to ask him if he's on his way up to the law firm or whatnot. He's stating we're on our way. While he's on the phone, he turns around and he sees little Michael placing food in his pocket. And I was like, come on, man. So in all of this going on right now, we see the abuse. We see he's not obviously been fed, and if he is being fed, he's having to actually hide his food for others not to take it from him. And I'm sitting here like, Tyler, please, man. Like, in this part here sooner than later. Now, I saw at the end of the actual show itself where Heather is coming back to get little Michael, but baby girl, you have an uphill battle, and I'll talk about that in the second video. But I'm just saying, like, it's not going to work out the way that Heather thinks it's going to work out. I'm not sure exactly what's going to go down, but once that police officer sees some things, it's not going to work out the way that she's hoping it's going to work out. But anyhow, that's pretty much it for this episode recap, man. I hope that you guys have enjoyed it. As always, please like and subscribe to this channel so y'all don't miss shit snit that's going down, all right? I will talk to y'all soon. Until next time, peace.